Fairy Tail has always been one of the shonen manga that I've been interested in, but for some reason never kept up with. I was usually more into Naruto, Bleach and One Piece, but with two of these finished, my interest has been peaking with Fairy Tail recently, and I've started reading it from the beginning. Great characters, interesting fights, and honestly a really well designed world. So with Naruto and One Piece having some half decent titles out there, my curiosity was piqued when I found out a game was coming out of a Fairy Tail as well, as it does seem to be very bare bones for titles. The truth is, the only Fairy Tail games before this were two PSP games, which I didn't even know existed. And if you did, you're a liar. A liar. So, fans of the series were hungry for a strong title for the franchise. I don't even think people would have been too bothered about what it even was. Would have been happy with anything from a hack and slash to Fairy Tail vs Sonic at the Olympic Games. But my main thought is, could someone who hasn't watched or read any Fairy Tail enjoy this game as a solid RPG? Could the story be captivating enough and the characters be intriguing to someone coming in completely blind? Well, let's break it down and find out. Oh, word of warning. The game's all Japanese with subtitles. Now, it doesn't bother me, but that's kryptonite to some people. We entering weeb country now, boy. Our story begins at the end of an arc. Our heroes have arrived to defeat Hades, the second guildmaster of Fairy Tail turned evil. A strange choice to start, as it meant that the tutorial for how to battle was against what should have been an end chapter boss. But it works, as it does make the start seem grander and that you're jumping hurdles already. Once this battle's over, everyone starts to pat each other on the back and how alive they all are, when one of the main story's antagonists shows up, Acnologia, a dragon who no one at this point can stand up to and is one of the strongest creatures in Fior. Fairy Tail defend themselves by collecting all their energy together and casting a spell called Fairy Sphere, which does protect them, but it also sends them 7 years into the future. You're probably wondering how. Yes. Without Fairy Tail's strongest members, the guild has fallen into obscurity, seen as a joke by most people and other guilds. They've lost the guild hall, are in debt, and have no members capable of getting them out of this rut. That's until our shining heroes return and start taking ass and kicking names. Wait. This is the main foundation of the game, climbing the guild ranks to make Fairy Tail the top guild in Fior again, and to prove their power in the Grand Magic Games which are coming up, all while ducking and diving the schemes of evil guilds and baddies. Exploration. Discovery. Once the tutorial's done and you've travelled through time, the world opens up to you. Cities, mystical forests, cold as hell mountains. The world's your oyster. The first place you can explore is your guild hall. This is where you can prepare before all your missions. You have the guild board to acquire new requests, which are graded from D to S, D being easy and S being difficult. The higher the difficulty, the greater the reward. We have a lab where we can craft new equipment, a bar which allows you to buy drinks to add a percentage increase to your stats for your next mission, a shop where you can buy everything you'll need from health items to basic equipment, and even more rooms open up as you progress through the game which give positive passive effects. Just make it rain here from time to time to improve some rooms and you'll be stronger for it. Which I love, by the way. The fact you can build up your base to make things better and benefit you in the long term is a concept that's not utilised enough in games. It adds another level of development and growth to your progress. Then we have the main attraction to the game, the battle system. This is where all the tactics and excitement live. Any creatures or enemies you can see wandering around out in the overworld will start a fight. It will rarely just be the one though. Once the battle starts, it can be anywhere from 1 to a giant group of 99. It's turn-based combat. Now, this has been done before and polished by games like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest and Pokemon, so they know what we like at this point, so they'll have a hard time messing this up. But Fairy Tail adds its own little twist. Each of your attacks now has a different set of grid references and effects. All enemies sit on a 3x3 set of tiles, and whichever move you choose will attack the board in different ways, so you have to mix and match with your partners to be able to deal with the threats. Not to mention your attacks have elements attached to them, so you could be a bull in a china shop, tearing through them, or throwing cotton candy in a wind tunnel, so you need to adapt to overcome. But if your character's HP or MP drops to 0, you pass out, so stay frosty. You have healing items and healing attacks as well, so don't worry, it's not all one-sided. With it being an RPG, every battle you earn EXP, levelling you up. This increases all your stats from HP and MP to your attack and defense, each level up hardening your team and allowing you to take on tougher and tougher battles and requests. Also, you unlock new attacks as well, giving you a few more options when taking on opponents, as more options on the grid allow you to take on enemies down more efficiently. It's basically admin. Beautiful, beautiful admin. And who doesn't love a good bit of clean and tidy organisation? Now, the game commits a classic turn-based RPG sin though. Most games do it, to be fair, but it doesn't make it any less forgivable. Reusing enemies and giving them different colour palettes to make them seem like completely different monsters. Because of this, there is not as many random enemy types as I would like. Wolves, birds, whales, sirens, monkeys, beasts, thieves, lizardmen, golems and demons. That's it, 10 non-boss enemies. A very low number for such a large game, and trust me, changing the colour scheme doesn't make it feel like you're attacking anything different. It's a very poor attempt on a bestiary, and it certainly deals a damaging blow on the game. Now, where would turn-based battles be without having a few cards up your sleeves when dealing with difficult enemies? First, we have Awakening. If you take enough damage, you gain the ability to enhance your character, which creates a fiery blue aura around you. Your attacks become much more powerful, and as you progress through the game, you get the ability to passively heal health in between turns as well. But, like in the anime, some characters have forms which grant even bigger boosts, or form-specific attacks which deal severe damage. The Dragon Slayers unlock Dragon Force, which is a stronger awakening. This is the apex of power for all the Dragon Slayers and is more powerful than basic awakening. It's the game's Super Saiyan and looks just as cool. But the Dragon Slayers also have the ability in the story to eat the elemental powers of others, meaning the combo forms also exist, like Natsu's Lightning Fire Dragon, Gajiel's Shadow Iron Dragon, and Sting's Shadow Light Dragon. These forms offer new destructive attacks which take advantage of your new dual types. So try and save these when you're in a pinch or on the back foot, because they are absolute safety nets of pain. The next card up our sleeves are Chains. These allow you to attack the battlefield with attacks in succession, like a chain. Oh god, why am I allowed to write things? Once you've dealt enough damage, a bar on the bottom right of the screen will fill up. Once it has, you can unleash a series of your standard attacks which get stronger each time. As the game progresses, you can perform longer and longer chains. So at first it's only 5, but by the end game I've seen it go as high as 40. It can hit enemies where it hurts in times of need, so it's another tool in your arsenal, ending groups of enemies in a second or taking a good chunk out of a tough boss. Your cast of characters are great representations of the show. You can feel the effort in the designs and dialogue. You don't feel that there was any lost effort in transferring between media. Now, without going through the entire cast of wizards, we have Natsu, the Dragon Slayer, Erza, a weapon master with the ability to summon different magical weapons and armours, Grey, an ice wizard who can create and manipulate ice, and Lucy, a celestial mage who can summon different zodiac-based warriors to assist in battle. There are 16 different mages for you to use, and each one brings something different to the table, allowing for big replayability and creates a whole different feeling in each battle depending on who you're using. If you ever feel underleveled or want to step away from the story for a while, you can pick up new missions at the request board. You probably won't need to, as the battles are well paced throughout the game. Some of these quests feel very dating simmy though. I need this special type of monkey scalp, can you pretty please get it for me by slaying 10 baby monkeys in the mountains? Nah fam. Mediocre fetch quests for low rewards. It doesn't really fit with this game type. I wish I'd have seen a little less of them. I'd expect filler like this in MMOs, not a tight RPG. Not all of them are like this though, but I feel like for every interesting mission there's 3 bleh quests. Dotted for each area are items, fruits, rocks. These can be picked up for little side quests where they can be exchanged for equipment or even used in the laboratory. The lab. To craft powerful and unique gear which can't be found anywhere else in the world. Now I don't speak the Japanese, but I'm sure when Natsu finds an item on the floor, it sounds like he's saying holy shitu. Now I found it funny, but after picking up about 200 red blueberries you realise he has a right potty mouth. Sort it out, lad. It's a Bandai game, which means we get the rare treat of a now loading minigame. Since Bandai own the copyright for loading minigames, we can only expect it from their titles. It consists of Happy waving a fishy baton and can knock away the letters. It's a fun little distraction, especially when you set yourself little challenges like hitting everything or only hitting certain letters. There are lots of cutesy moments in the game. It is an anime-based game, so that's to be expected, but if you don't watch the anime, you might get diabetes from how sweet it is at times. I'm already diabetic and I now have no feet from this game. I'm all wooden. Speaking of wood, of course there's fan service. Fan service, fan service, fan service. Wait, how old is she? They have Erza in a revealing bikini the second she's on a beach. She even fights with it on. And Lucy's not far behind. They have, at one point, an entire cutscene of just all the girls playing in a swimming pool, just splashing around being all boobalicious. And two of the characters being jealous because they have smaller assets. Fan service. But, in the very next scene, a character from Erza's past turns up and they have a cute reunion. And they do this from one long picture pulled from the anime. They're sacrificing story development through character interactions and instead putting effort into horny pandering. Corners are being cut in not just the story but in the battles as well. What could have been fun and creative fights are summed up in diary sections or screen caps, and battles you'll never get to experience because... reasons? I really don't understand the way they just skip arcs. They'll reference the battles and almost rub it in your face with, oh, these battles were so hard against really tough foes. Like, cheers mate, great to hear, I'd love to have been a part of it though. There's a lot of battles where you could have been fighting a bunch of interesting wizards or enemy guilds, but they get replaced with, hey, fight these 6 same thief skins that you've already battered about 40 times and don't feel special anymore, and the one character we were bothered to make. The pacing gets mashed up because of it and leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you know it could have been so much more. It's like if you were watching a film with intense action and the screen goes black and a little picture comes up and says, and then Optimus Prime does a sick backflip and punches Megatron in the face and it's awesome, but instead here's Sam Witwicky doing his taxes instead. It's like, no, don't tease the content, give me the content, I want to play that, let me do that! I think in terms of translating manga to game, in terms of design it's great, and there's a lot of good word for word moments that fans will recognise and make for great interactable instances for you. And for the way it's laid out, the creators get a lot of chances to sprinkle some game only missions and non-canon moments to have fun with. But I feel like they could have done more with these opportunities, as corners were cut in terms of story and also what would have been really fun and exciting battles. It comes across as lazy. I don't know if they ran out of money or time, but the game suffers because of it. They didn't make some character models for some really important characters, and because of that, key story moments and battles lackluster because of it. Characters just talk to nothing off screen and then a picture replies. Kinda pulls you out the moment. There's a moment in the story where you should be able to see and fight 7 dragons with quite cool and unique designs. Instead, you never see 3 of them, 1 gets replaced by a portrait, and only 3 have interesting battles. Atlas Flame, Zirconis and Mother Glare are the only 3 you fight. They're all really important to the story. At this point in the anime and manga, the Dragon Slayers see for themselves that they are nothing compared to the strength of a dragon, throwing everything at them and not even leaving a scratch in a set of highly anticipated fights. And the game just passes over it like, meh, you'll get them next time, Tiger. Anticlimactic to say the least. Music, I can't fault the music though. The music in the anime was something that I always enjoyed. Really exciting Celtic Gaelic metal riffs that empower every moment. From building momentum and anticipation, sad moments to break your heart and battles that keep you on the edge of your seat. Music is a powerful tool to enhance your experience, and Fairy Tail soundtrack does this with ease. And it's recreated perfectly in game. You'll never say that the music doesn't fit the scene. The level of care that was put in the show's music was used for the game. Love was made with this soundtrack. It creates a feeling which transcends the medium. You could see this being welcomed in Celtic halls or Viking celebrations. If I swap the music from these scenes, it just fits. The game has a ton of good moments, but it still has some serious issues. In terms of storytelling, it stills and in-game rendered cutscenes, and then 10 hours in, starts having animated pictures like they're from the anime. It lacks consistency. It starts doing this, and then the very next scene shows two characters talking with a simple backdrop, using character portraits. If it was consistent, they could have ripped a few stills from the show. The game doesn't finish the story either. The anime is over. It's not like the story moved on while the game was being made, which is the case for a lot of anime games like Naruto a few years ago or One Piece. They just stopped short. But to be fair, they barely put a lot of effort into the arcs they did actually make. So I'm probably asking too much for an ending. One more arc. One more. And it would have been a closed experience. It's like they made enough unique and interesting content for a concise 10 to 15 hour gaming experience, but Bandai Namco came in and said, no, we need at least 40 hours because it's an RPG. The budget at this point was probably blown on crispy pancakes and advent calendars, so they've had to look in the pockets for fluff and spare change to try and spread this game sandwich over more bread. During the epilogue, which opens up after the final story mission, you get a 10-year quest and a 100-year quest, which means no one's been able to complete this quest for 10 and 100 years. So I thought, here we go, some double hard battles with some random looking creatures or monsters giving me a reason to use all my level 99 team to tear up some mage bottom. But nope, reused models, Tartarus demons and the dragons. They are at level 99, but the only challenge is how big the health pool is. Atlas Flame and Zircon were the only two that pushed me a little bit, and it still only took me one attempt. So what was the point of the magical growth system? Once your character's maxed out to level 99, you can increase your stats, but you become level 1 again. So it's a big cycle of just boosting your characters more and more. There's no point. Everything is dead. All requests and bosses, dead. So why even have this as an option? There must be more coming, there has to be. It just doesn't make sense to be able to create super powered characters and then have nothing to do with them. So my final thoughts would be this. The game is not friendly to those who know nothing about Fairy Tail. The late game becomes repetitive with the same enemies and the same style of missions, and without connection to the characters and seeing what they've all been through pre-game, you're probably just going to do the main story and nothing else. If you're a fan of the show, then you're going to find it a lot more enjoyable exploring and fighting with your favourite characters, but you are most definitely going to be pulled out of the experience with lazy jumps in plot and enemies and battles missing completely. Not to mention the fact that the game stops short from finishing. I would not recommend this game to non-Fairy Tail fans, as it's not enough of a solid RPG on its own merits. But, if you are a fan, the aesthetic and hunger for a mainline title is enough to push you through the problems in the game and end up with an enjoyable title. This could have been top tier good, as it had the foundation already laid out with an exciting story, but I guess we'll just have to settle for good enough for now. Hey, thank you very much if you made it this far. I hope you enjoyed the video today, and if you want to see more, think about dropping a like or a subscribe. Peace and love everyone. Bye for now.